This is Dan of Vagabond Awake, and today we have the good fortune of having Gil with us. He's been coming to Boquete, Panama since the year 2000, and he spent a good deal of his life coming here often over the last 21 years.
21 years.
And he's a very unique story, and so he has a perspective about this part of the world and much of the world that I thought you guys would want to learn. And so welcome, Gil.
My pleasure, Dan.
So how many countries have you visited, and how long have you been traveling?
Well, you know, Dan, I'll be frank. I thought I had done 90 countries, but last night I was thinking about them in my dreams, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I've overdone it by 10, you know, so it's more like 80.
Okay.
But having said that, 80 countries in great detail.
Yeah.
Each country I've spent more than 2 to 3 months, so
Wow.
come to your own conclusion.
That's crazy. And what year would you say you started traveling? Because you move forward, don't you? I mean, you don't just like...
I've been traveling since I was born. Both my parents were diplomats, so you can imagine where we traveled.
Yeah, sure.
My father was a diplomat, a career diplomat for almost 50 years, and but really I started seriously traveling the last 50 years.
Okay.
That's a lot of travel.
That's a lot of
That's a lot
travel.
of travel.
And so if you had to live on 1,000 per month, where in the world would you go? Maybe 1 or 2 spots.
Okay. We all know that $1,000 used to be $1,000, but $1,000 isn't that much nowadays, you know.
Yeah.
But $1,000, okay, I'm going to have to cut out a lot of countries, you know. But even in Asia, there are countries where you have it difficult to live on $1,000. I mean, you can't live at $1,000 in Singapore,
Oh, of course.
Taiwan, and places like that.
Yeah.
I would imagine, yes, you can still live for $1,000 in Vietnam and definitely Philippines, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But a lot of countries in Asia are out of the picture.
Yeah.
But in Latin America, Colombia, Argentina, definitely, Peru. There's a beautiful city in Peru called Arequipa,
I love 𝗪
which I know somebody we hold very dearly loves. But there's not that many spectacular places in Peru. Peru is a beautiful country,
Yeah.
but you have to take away the archaeological places, and there's not much there.
Yeah,
Remember, a lot of Peru is desert
yeah.
and high mountain
Very high
areas,
mountain,
you know.
very high.
So it's not very livable, you know. Even Arequipa can get quite cold.
Yeah, yeah. It does. It's a
So
high elevation.
the other countries I would highly recommend for people is Uruguay, Colombia, Argentina. Belize I'm not keen on anymore for many reasons which I don't want to go into.
So why are you in Boquete, and how long have you been coming here? What is it about Boquete that has
Okay.
you keep coming back for
There's
21 years?
3 main reasons why I like Boquete. And many of those reasons I think also attract other people, obviously.
Right.
Number 1, it's the fantastic, spectacular scenery here, Mother Nature. For me, also the fact that you have so many expats here from so many countries, which makes it interesting. And the third reason is the hiking. Great hiking, fantastic hiking. And there's not that many people, not that many places in the world you can say that. And I think the fourth reason, if there was a fourth reason for me, but it's not, is it used to be extremely cheap. For me, that isn't that important. But it's still very, very reasonable. Not as cheap as the Philippines or Vietnam or Malaysia, a lot of the Asian countries that are dirt cheap now compared to other places in the world, but still very, very inexpensive.
So it sounds. So what do you like most about Boquete? What would be the one thing you think stands out above all else?
Well, I think it's easy to live here. If you want to live here or retire here, it's fairly easy compared to other places in the world.
Right.
For many Americans, I'm an American, but for other expats also, it's very easy to adjust here. As you know, a lot of Americans find it difficult to adjust anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
as it is very difficult for a Japanese
Yeah.
person. Since Panama has tremendous ties with the United States,
Yeah.
because of the canal, obviously.
Right.
It's very easy, and you can find anything and everything here.
Right.
You know, you have Price Mart here. You've got everything that you would find in the U.S.
Yeah.
or many other countries.
And
too.
all the foods too.
The foods, tremendous variety.
Right.
Tremendous variety. More so in Panama City, obviously. Boquete, even though it has fantastic restaurants, for a small village of 14,000 population,
Right.
15,000 population, we have like 60 restaurants.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unique, you know.
Yeah. And the
there's-
diversity too.
There used to be 11 banks here. You can imagine the amount of money the expats bring to this little village. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, that has made given opportunities for the locals to have jobs,
Right.
which is very important.
Yeah. Seems like a good standard of living here compared to
A very
other parts
high
of the world.
standard of living for expats, let alone for the locals.
Yeah. And so what would you say, what would be a range maybe for a single expat, maybe on the low end, all the way up to the high end? What are the ranges of the expats that you meet to the
Okay,
extent you
I'm
know?
going to give you a single
For cost
for a
of
single
living,
person.
for a single person.
For a single person. You might have to add a little bit more if there's a couple or a family.
Right.
I would say for a single person, it's gone up a lot in the last 5 years.
Okay.
A lot of the Americans that came here from Costa Rica originally, they came over here because Costa Rica wasn't everything it was promoted or they told them that it was. And most of Americans come here because of the inexpense, but now that's gone up considerably.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you a rough estimate. A single person could live here very easily with his pension, with between 800 and 1,300.
Okay.
Very easily. That depends on your lifestyle,
Absolutely.
obviously.
Absolutely.
I mean, that could go up to 2,000.
Yeah, if you're drinking
it depends.
expensive
Exa-
alcohol and going to expensive
exactly.
restaurants and
Exactly.
living high in the mountain
Exactly.
with a view and
But having said what I just said, I'm talking three times a week. Go out and have food outside. In a restaurant, a
Yeah,
local
yeah,
restaurant.
yeah.
Very easy.
right.
And I'll give you an example of rents and what you would pay for water, for electricity. Okay. A rental you can find here anywhere between 300 to about 600
Okay.
for a one-bedroom apartment or a large studio. You can even find homes, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom homes for that. But it means you're going to have to do a little more research,
Yeah. A lot of footwork.
a lot of footwork.
Yeah.
And the best way to find an accommodation here is Airbnb, but using the long stays
Right.
scenario.
Right.
A lot of people don't know about.
Right.
Craigslist,
Yeah.
and my favorite, asking the locals. But asking the locals means learning Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Although a lot seem to speak
A
English.
lot
here.
of that's another reason why Americans like it here. Most of the local people speak reasonable English.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and they're used to it. In all the restaurants, you'll find somebody that will listen to you and can speak
Right.
English.
Yeah. They seem to hire them for that reason. In
Exactly.
all the stores.
Exactly.
And then we actually see these big mansions up on the hill. So what's a high end that people come here and live on?
Very rich Americans come here, and also other expats from other nationalities. We
Yeah.
have Puerto Ricans, we have Mexicans, we have
Yeah.
French, Germans, English,
Yeah.
etc.
A spectrum.
Even Italians. So
Yeah.
there's a large group of expats from all over the world. But of course, more Americans and a lot of Canadians as of late.
So what do you think high end? What would a big house be with a
Okay,
view?
you can find big houses. I'm talking 3-4 bedroom homes for anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000. Beautiful homes, but I'm talking mansions.
Yeah, you're talking really.
I'm talking
with
mansions that
with
you would
valley
pay
views
that you would pay thousands of dollars for in
5 or
California.
10,000. Oh yeah.
In California or somewhere else,
Right.
New York.
Yeah.
So if anybody comes here and has no problem with money,
Right.
you're going to live like a king here.
Yeah. Really.
Very well.
The king's banker, really. Well, good. And so, so if you arrived today, how would you go about finding a place to live? Because you've been coming for so long. And
Yeah. Well, like I said, the best recommendation is ask the locals.
right.
But again, Craigslist, I would use Craigslist.
Okay.
Airbnb is very good, but the Airbnbs here, the government is clamping down on short-term Airbnbs.
Right. Right.
And a lot of the locals now are going for monthly lets.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but on Craigslist, they haven't been. The government hasn't been clamping down on Craigslist. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're going to probably have a little more opportunity there. You know?
Okay. Okay.
But then having said that, the locals is what it's all about.
Yeah. Of course.
Anywhere in the world.
Of course. Yeah. It's walking the neighborhoods. Where in the world would you say you love as much as Boquete? You know, maybe 2 or 3 other
Sure,
places, because
of
you've
course.
been everywhere.
Well, more or less. I still have a lot of countries to carry. But
Sure. Sure.
I've only got a list of about 20 more countries, then I'm finished. Okay, I'm going to sound, with the countries that I'm about to mention, I'm going to sound that I'm inclined towards Latin America, and even more so, South America.
Right. Right.
Why? I'll be frank. Because since I speak almost perfect Spanish, I'm inclined towards that.
Yeah.
And I'm a very social animal. And I love to meet the elderly. I love to meet the elderly people, the locals, you know, in all the different countries in South America. And I'm drawn to South America, more so than Mexico and Central America. Probably because Mexico and Central America are more geared towards the United States.
Yeah. Yeah.
The people there are more interested in the American dream,
Yeah. Yeah.
which you and I know doesn't exist anymore. You know? And South America is made up of all the immigrants that arrived in South America came from Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost more than 90% European stock.
Right. Right.
If you go to Buenos Aires, it's the capital of Latin America and beauty, and it's like going to Paris. It's like going
It's
to Madrid.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Like going to Barcelona.
Yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful city. You know, it's European.
And right now,
It's not
the dollar
South,
is
it's
really
not
strong there,
It's
isn't
not Spanish. you
no,
know?
no.
Not from Spain, in other words.
Yeah. It's
And right now, of course, it's probably one of the cheapest places in the world.
yeah. Yeah.
So I would highly recommend for any adventure to go to Argentina. Right now, it's a gold mine in Argentina right now.
Yeah.
And you can live 50% cheaper than here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the other countries would be Colombia. Don't listen to what the world and what the media says about Colombia. It's very safe. There are exceptions. Cartagena and Bogota can be not so safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was held up my first day in Bogota, so I would stay away from Bogota.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in Cartagena, once you leave the walled city,
Yeah.
you've got problems. You got to be looking back.
Watch yourself.
Got to have your eyes in your head, you know.
Yeah.
You got to be very careful, very cautious. You have to be cautious anywhere in the world.
Of course.
You have to be cautious in London, for God's sake.
Yeah. New York,
New York, anywhere, you know.
Miami, everywhere.
Especially Miami. But I know I've been to probably the most beautiful villages in Colombia.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's 50 of them, and very few countries in the world can say that they have 50 colonial villages, incredible villages. Each one is a gem. They're safer I'd rather sit there than in Hyde Park.
So you're talking
Hyde Park, London.
the coffee areas.
No, not necessarily.
No?
There are 2 regions I would highly recommend to first visit in Colombia. I would go to Santander first, the Santander area, province. The capital of Santander is Bucaramanga. It's a city of 27 parks.
Wow.
27 incredible.
I haven't been there.
27 incredible parks. And the people are nice, fascinating. A lot of culture, history. Remember, Colombia has an enormous history, enormous archaeology. And then the other area would be a village called Barichara. Barichara is what I would consider the most well-restored colonial village in all of Latin America. And that's having said a lot.
That is saying a lot. Yeah.
A lot. But then the other region is the coffee region, the region called Antioquia. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. And then you have the capital of Antioquia is Medellin, of course. Everybody's heard of Medellin because they heard about Escobar, you know, the famous drug lord, you know, etc.
Yeah.
But
that's a beautiful part.
It's a beautiful city.
Yeah.
All you have to do is take the metro, and it's probably one of the cleanest metros I've seen in the world.
Yeah, it is.
Cleaner than the one in London, cleaner than the metro in Paris, for God's sakes, you know.
Yeah. That's
and
great.
everyone is, you get lost on the metro and everybody wants to help you. They take their turn helping you. They grab you by the hand and they take you with them.
And then you also go to Uruguay, right? Quite a bit.
Uruguay used to be my #1 country in all of Latin America.
Right.
Why? Because it's so special, so unique. It doesn't compare to any other country in Latin America, except maybe Guyana, you know, or French Guyana or whatever. But I won't go into that because there's so many reasons why it's special. Suffice to say that it is unique.
Right.
You know? They're the mate drinkers, the heaviest mate drinkers in all the world. They drink 4 times more than the Argentinians mate. They'll never have a revolution there because the people are just so tranquil, so at ease. They're happy people. They've learned to live by the day.
Right.
They're not worried about anything.
Yeah.
You know? And they still have high family values, which is something which has been lost throughout the world.
Yeah.
The Italians still have it, but I think Uruguayans are #1.
So if you had to live somewhere 9 months of the year, what would be the top 3 places? You couldn't leave for 9 months of every year.
9 months.
You had to go to one of those 3 places.
Okay.
What would it be?
Okay, I think that's a very easy question to ask, for me anyway. I would probably choose, in Latin America, I would probably choose Argentina and Colombia. One good reason, they're incredibly large countries. You can live there for a year and you're never gonna finish getting to know the whole country. It's there's so many places to go in Colombia and Argentina. You could live there for 2 years and you're not going to be able to see everything.
Okay, third one.
The other third one would probably be, oh my God, that's a hard one. Well, Panama, I guess. Panama, you know. The problem with Panama, I'll be very frank here, a lot of people don't like me saying this, is that there's not much culture here. There's not much archaeology here.
Yeah.
But to live here and to retire here, it makes a great base.
Yeah.
Having a good base here. So it's good for that. Excellent. And then because you can get on a plane and go to Colombia for $100 there, and you know.
Yeah.
One way, $100 one way. So it's dirt cheap. And there's 3 airlines to do that. So it's a great place to have a base.
Well, Gil, it's been a real pleasure meeting you on this trip. Chung and I have both really enjoyed your company, and we want to thank you for coming on the channel and sharing with our subscribers, because you have such an incredible base of knowledge. And Gil?
Okay, it's been my pleasure.
Hey, if you liked our video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Any of that would help our business. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Click the link in the notes below this video to get a copy of this content. Plus, grab a free copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 13 Years. While you're there, check out our catalog of retired cheap reports all over the world and our hobby income course that we just released. Thanks so much.